Hello, all you miracles and warriors out there. I am coming to you today with the first meditation exercise. So, this should hopefully be a standalone exercise for you to come back to, especially for your logic parts that may not like to participate in prayer and meditation and stuff like that. This is a very practical mental exercise that will give you a lot of grounding and stability in the system. So, if you can find a comfortable place to sit, and I don't recommend laying down because a lot of times you may fall asleep, but a comfortable place to sit, whether that is cross legged or in a comfortable chair, whatever it is, you want to have your back upright. And what we want to be doing essentially is taking some time to focus internally and do a little bit of mental investigation. Now, we're going to be doing this in times, hopefully, of not upset too, just to build this as a familiar exercise mentally so that when we are in times of upset and emotional intensity, flashbacks, triggers, and trying to help calm the storm within, essentially, bring those littles back to a place of present grounding. We want to be able to have this be a familiar exercise that we've already done a bunch of times and really understand. It's like a gym membership. It's going to feel awkward at first, but I guarantee you the frustration will diminish as you do this more and more. So if you can commit to even just 5 minutes a day, you will notice noticeable change in how grounded you feel in the system, and it will definitely improve feeling present and just improve overall internal communication. So I'm going to be referring to my notes today to try and keep it a little bit shorter. All right, so we already talked about why it helps. And just so you know, this is our foundational exercise number 1. But if this is all you know, it is totally fine. This really is going to be the most important thing. It's just because it's basic doesn't mean it's not powerful, basically. So this very simple tool in your toolbox will make the world of difference in creating some stability in your system, in addition to doing your journaling and then venting, which I'll get to at a video in the future. So, our steps of meditation. We're sitting comfortably. We may or may not have a timer set when we're doing our meditation, just so that our mind doesn't constantly wander back to how long have I been here for. And essentially what we want to do is sit quietly, sit comfortably, and our steps of meditation are always going to be, number 1, to acknowledge a thought as it arises. We're going to just notice, like a wave on the ocean, the thought has arisen and is forming in our mind. Number 2 is we're going to say, that's a thought. Basically, it doesn't matter how intrusive it is, how mundane it is. It could be really messed up trauma stuff. It could be, I need to go take care of my laundry. It doesn't matter what it is. We're just going to label it a thought. And then we're going to notice that that thought subsides and is usually very quickly replaced by another thought. So just this simple exercise as we sit and internally investigate is really the basics of this very powerful tool, because it helps to start training all of our parts, themselves, to start to focus on an object of their choosing, especially an object of peace and grounding in the present when we're in times of upset, essentially. So, notice the thought, we acknowledge the thought, and then what are we going to do? We're going to choose to focus on something of our choice. Now, that typically for me is what I recommend, is that what we're going to do is, as we acknowledge the thoughts that are arising, what we're going to do is choose to focus initially on something that we always have with us, which is our breath. you're always going to be breathing out of either your nose or your mouth. And what you want to do is use that as your sensation, your object of focus to ground you in the present, bring you out of the past and into the present. So, really, what you want to do is just sit, and as you notice the thought, label it a thought, and then we're going to come back to our breath. And how we do that is essentially putting all of our focus right here at the tip of our nose, where on our skin, as we inhale, we can feel cool air coming into our nose. And then as we exhale, we can feel warm air exiting our nose. So, or we can say that it's dry air coming into our nose and wet air exiting our nose. Whichever it is that feels most helpful to you. But essentially, all of your focus you're going to take and going to put right here at the tip of your nose or on your lips if you're breathing out of your mouth. And you're just going to notice the sensation on your skin of cool and dry or wet and warm. And you can also, if you want, pair this with a mental exercise where you'll be, in addition to the physical sensation, be saying in your mind, perhaps in 2, 3, 4 with the inhale and out 2, 3, 4 with the exhale if you're doing counts of 4 for your breath. Or you could be doing cool, warm with your counts of breath. Or you could be doing, dry and wet. So essentially, it's doing something that is 100% based in our physical body, our present, and essentially using that as a beacon to bring us back here to a place of going from 100 down to 90 to a place of workability in our mind, in our system, to where we can start acknowledging and validating our difficult emotions in a productive way, like journaling or comfort exercises. So the other 2 things I really wanted to recommend were a couple other just variations to do on the exercise that may be helpful. One is that in addition to the breath, or instead of it, you can, as your physical anchor, your physical thing to focus on to bring you back into the present in your body. It can be a mala or just any beaded necklace or rosary that essentially, as you sit and have an inhale and exhale, on each inhale, you advance a bead basically. So you have something, a physical action, to ground you here in the present in your body basically, and to the breath. And essentially what you're going to find is that in and of itself is going to create a lot of calm and stability in your system. And then just the other tip was going to be the mantra. So maybe say something more meaningful to you than counting or noticing the observation of the sensations on your skin. You can use a mantra, like we've said like I learned in Buddhism, that essentially it's just a short, meaningful phrase that feels easy and natural to say internally or externally as you have your inhale and exhale. So for me, it's always been Om Mani Padme Hum, because that's felt very natural to me, the mantra of compassion. And what I usually do is do the first half of it on the in-breath, the second half of the phrase on the out-breath. And that is what I recite when I'm doing a mantra meditation, sometimes in addition to the mala beads. And why this is a great tip and really helpful is because it just does a great job at giving us many things to help anchor us here in the present and pull us out of the flashback and out of the intense emotion essentially, and into a place of clarity, understanding, perspective, being able to tackle things with our internal helpers and adult brain. So I really hope that this was helpful and that you can easily come back to this if you ever have any issues with remembering why it is that we do meditation, and also just the very simple basics of it, which is just to find a comfortable place to sit. Hopefully set a timer so your mind doesn't wander to that too much, and just take some time to train all of your parts, invite them all to just look at an object of your choice, an object of grounding and peace, instead of the chaos, the storm, the waves becoming tsunamis of our mind. So I hope you all have a beautiful day, and I will try my hardest to post a few more specific meditation videos that may be more helpful to different parts. And I hope you all have a beautiful, wonderful healing journey. I'm sending my prayers for it, and have a beautiful day.